What's up, everybody? Selvin here with another episode of the Black Student Success Podcast, brought to you by Inquire Higher, where we promote and support the success of Black students and professionals through multimedia. So we're always happy to have students on our podcast to kind of talk about their experience. So today's guest is a freshman at Clark Atlanta University. He is a business administration student with a focus in marketing. He's really involved. I was super surprised offline, kind of talking to him about all the different things that he's into within his campus and outside of campus. So it's going to be really nice to kind of hear his story, all the things that he's getting into, and the motivations behind them. So Javari Carlton, welcome to the show. How you doing, man?
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much. So we're going to start how we always do by asking, who is Javari Carlton?
Javari Carlton. Ooh, that is a loaded question. Javari Carlton is a first-generation college student at Clark Atlanta University. He is a Dean List Scholar. He's also a model. He's a future real estate agent. He is an entrepreneur. He is active. He is dedicated. He is kind. He is creative. It's a number of things that Javari Carlton is. You know, I could write novels about who Javari Carlton is. So however much time you have, you know, I can keep going.
There you go. I appreciate that so much. So, all right, so let's get into it. Let's kind of start, before Javari Javari Carlton, the college student. Let's talk about, who is Javari kind of before, making it to Clark Atlanta, specifically, what was that admissions experience like for you when you decided that, okay, college is the next step for me? What were some of those things that you were thinking of? How have all of those steps looked like for you? And then eventually what, influenced your choice for Clark Atlanta eventually?
My entire life, I knew that I wanted to be in college. You know, I knew I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to go off to college, and I knew that I wanted to graduate from college. With Clark Atlanta being my school now, I would have to say that I've never thought I'll be here. My entire life, I've always wanted to be a FAMU Rattler, but you know that life happened, and I ended up not being admitted into the school. So, my choice was to stay in Florida and attend community college and just transfer to any university in the state. But I was thinking, you know, I know my potential, and I know that I'm worth so much more, and I knew that I can conquer so much more. So with me applying to Clark, honestly, I honestly don't even remember me applying for Clark. So I ended up surprisingly, I woke up, I remember this day so vividly. You know, I woke up and it was in March, about a week before spring break. It was 6 o'clock in the morning. I was getting ready to get ready for class at Edgewater High School in Orlando, Florida. And I woke up to an acceptance letter for Clark Atlanta University. And I wasn't excited because I didn't remember, honestly, I did not remember me applying. And I was like, what? I'm like, I applied for Clark? So I went on, you know, got dressed, and then I came downstairs and I was like, Mom, I got accepted to Clark Atlanta University, by the way. And then she was like, what? Clark Atlanta University? And I was just like, yeah, like, you know, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. And then she was like, yes, it is a big deal. You know, you got accepted into a private institution, you know, an HBCU. So, you know, we sat down, we talked about it, we evaluated, you know, my options. I moved to Atlanta. I was lost. I was confused. I didn't understand why I wanted to be here, but I knew that that this was on purpose. This wasn't just a coincidence. So my first month of college, it was very hard for me because I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. I seen all of these excellent students thriving in the world so far, and they're my age. So I'm thinking maybe my reason for being here is because I can be just like them, if not better, you know? So with with all of these influences around me, this positive energy, seeing so many people achieve the impossible, I decided that maybe me starting real estate school and finally, you know, doing something that I truly love is the reason why I'm here. You know, me getting into, you know, modeling is the reason why I'm here. The reason why I'm here is because I knew that I can be just like them once again, or even, better, So with me being at Clark, I can say that it has opened so many doors of opportunity. It has broadened my horizons, and it helped me to understand that the sky is not the limit. We can go further. We can achieve so much more. And I've been living up to, and ever since then, I've been living up to that standard that the sky is not the limit. I can go further than that. And with that, I was able to achieved so much, starting with me, obtaining a 4.0 GPA in my first semester of college, me modeling for Puma. I've never thought that I've ever modeled for any huge company like Puma, but they chose me. They saw me. JP Morgan, I was able to get involved with them, and now I'm a part of their freshman focus group. So during the summer, I will also be, partnering with them in a lot of ways and contributing to their investment banking program. And just me being here my first semester, just imagine how many all of the next semesters that I have here at Clark Atlanta. Just imagine how many other opportunities will just come flourishing. Who would have known? But I say all of that to say that I'm so happy that I chose to come here. And I know that this, even if this is not the final step for me, I'm glad that I am taking this step just so that I can know what I can experience what's out there.
Absolutely. And that's dope to hear that you have been able to accomplish so much within that first semester.
Yes.
I know you didn't mention it before, but being able to do all those things and get a 4.0 is definitely huge. I definitely want to
Yes.
commend you for that. The one of the most interesting parts about that is the fact that you decided to go into real estate school while, being able to kind of start at Clark Atlanta. That's something I don't think a lot of students really think about, because maybe it's more sequential for them. Okay, let me get the college years out the way, and then let me go into that specialized school. But you decided to kind of get those things out of the way. So what was kind of the thought process behind that, as well as how did you actually achieve that? Because I'm sure going to another state, in the school that, you just happened to apply to and didn't recall, but, it's a new school, it's a new state. Just everything about the environment is new. The pace of the classes are new. And now on top of this, you're adding the real estate school. How, what was the thought process behind that? And then how did you end up achieving that? What were those things that you put in place to be able to do that?
So like I mentioned before, with real estate school, I procrastinated about it for about a year and a half because I was in high school and I was trying to do so much other things, with me having an internship while I was in high school, me having a mentor, being a president of this organization and that organization and community service and all of it. So I procrastinated about it for about a year and a half. And then I lost, focus. I decided that I just wasn't going to do it anymore because it was just going to be too much. But then when I got down here to Atlanta, I was thinking like, what am I going to do with my life? Because now I'm on my own. I'm in a new state by myself. It's different because moving from Orlando. If I have went to FAMU, it would just been another city. I could just go right and drive. But now I'm in a new city where I have to fly, so it's different. So I knew that I wanted to be successful. I knew I wanted to be in real estate, but I put it off because I was just trying to focus on other things. But with me being in real estate school and also being in college, it was hard. I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat it. It was very hard, and it was hard for me to stay focused. And oftentimes with the assignments, I found myself procrastinating. But then, I had to snap out of it because not only am I paying my money to be in college, but I'm also paying my money to be in real estate school, and I want both. And going back to what we spoke about earlier before we started, you have to work for what you want. So I knew I wanted the both of them. So I made time for it. And I knew that I had to make a lot of sacrifices. Like we spoke, I was off, maybe 3, 4 or 5 hours of sleep sometimes 2 hours of sleep, trying to achieve this goal of, having a 4.0 and passing real estate school. And so I knew I wanted to do real estate, and I knew that I knew I wanted to be successful. So, and I also knew that it wasn't going to come easy. So why not now? Once I
Mm-hmm.
knew all of those things, why not now? So I began real estate school, and it's a lot of information that you have to obtain while you're in real estate school. And me trying to get accustomed to this college environment, it was definitely hard. It was frustrating at times, and I found myself, angry. Like, why did I choose to do this? Like, what am I doing? But then when I was doing the assignments, I was thinking to myself, "Wow, Javar, you're doing it. Like you're doing it right now. You don't have. There's no. You didn't you procrastinated for all of these years, but now you're actually doing it." And I also have the mindset of, I started something, I have to finish it now. I put my all into it and finish it. So with that, I was able to finish real estate school in December. And now I'm preparing myself for the national exam, and I'm also researching brokerages. Um, yeah. With that being said, yeah, I wanted something, so I did it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's good that you acknowledge that it was difficult, being able to have
Hmm.
to manage those things and find the balance between all of those things because especially with you being in a new environment now, regardless of how you feel about that new environment, there may be some new things that you like were probably looking forward to doing that maybe you weren't able to get to as quickly because you had these other things in mind. But
Hmm.
and it sounds like you were reminded of previously not being as focused on that goal and then getting to to have the opportunity to be able to do both. You didn't want to
Hmm.
miss out on that chance. And so
Yes.
and all those things are all those feelings of like frustration and
Hmm.
and difficulty. Those are definitely temporary. So now you've achieved getting through the courses and preparing for the exams, which you may have a little bit more flexibility in terms of time on.
Hmm.
But getting over that hump and being able to identify the not only the sacrifice that you have to do but the determination that you have to be able to do both and then achieve it. No, that's what's up.
Yes.
So kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
And yeah, no problem. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going to be able to be inspired by that. So now that you're at Clark Atlanta, you've got a full semester under your belt.
Yes.
What has that experience been like? Being in a new school in a new state, and specifically in HBCU. What has that experience been like to you, and like how is that meaningful to you?
Being in HBCU has definitely opened my eyes to a lot of things that I didn't know were out there. I learned a lot about my own culture that I did not know. I've met wonderful people. I've connected with so many people. Like where I'm from, you don't really see a lot of African American doctors, but I've seen so many just being here, just going into the classrooms and going into the seminars and different things of that sort. I like I said before, Clark definitely has its ups and downs, and of course it could be better, but it's just like every other institution, in my opinion. It has its ups and downs. It could definitely be better. That's why, I've tried to get involved more and try to voice my opinion more. Um, I knew I always wanted to be at an HBCU because I wanted to know more about who I was and my culture, because I know the African American culture is it's like no other. It's beautiful. It's magical. So I knew I wanted to be around, and I knew I wanted to surround myself around Black excellence. I knew that I wanted to thrive, and I knew that in order for me to thrive, I have to know about me, and I have to know what opportunities are out there for people that are just like me. And I knew, I'm not the only one that's going through things, and I know I'm not the only one that's trying to overcome things and try to get into things. So, and knowing that, I knew I wanted to be around like-minded people. I knew I wanted to be around people that are either trying to make it to where I want to be or already there. Try to surround myself around, try to get mentors, people that could give me advice, people that could, tell me the necessary steps it takes to be what they are, and who they are and all that they have accomplished.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's good to be able to surround yourself with those individuals. But I think, to the point that you made, it definitely starts with finding out things about yourself. And
Mhm.
for you, it was not only just, what things that you wanted to be good at or what career you wanted to start, but it started with, getting to know your culture and kind of where you fit within
Mhm.
that culture, how that influences your life. So being able to start with yourself and then start to branch out, start to then surround yourself by those individuals,
Mhm.
see 10 times as many Black doctors than you would normally see in your normal environment. It's good that it starts with that self-awareness and then being able to then take that and know exactly the places that you want to put yourself into and the people that you want to meet. And like I said, it sounds like in that first semester you've already started doing that, and with having 7, 8, 9 more semesters to go,
Mhm.
that there's a lot more people, a lot more environments that you can get yourself into to not only boost
Right.
yourself but then eventually boost others.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, now with all the things that you're getting into, that that you're looking forward to doing, you mentioned the modeling, you mentioned the real estate, getting into summer internships, and eventually getting into community service to be able to take some more of that time and put it towards others. Are there any, either setbacks that you face when trying to like find the balance between all of those, especially if some of our other listeners are just as involved as you? Are there some things that you had to overcome, and if so, what were those things that you had to do?